Please rise and pledge allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Here.
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 Moving the agenda, there's a couple of things. The payables are gonna change from the 29,000 figure to 34,976.78, which changes the total to 57,095.96.
Oh, wait. I'm suggesting that we have,
We'll just do it, we don't need it.
okay. Yeah, I'm-
Okay, I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Any support?
I'll support.
Moved and supported to approve the agenda. Any further question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Approval of the minutes of the March 9th meeting.
I move we accept those minutes as written.
Any support?
Support.
And moved and supported to accept the minutes of the March 9th, 2016 meeting. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public comment, Pat Lansing.
Okay, no answer.
Good evening, I'm Dina Garrity. I'm the Executive Director of Paddle Antrim, so thank you for letting me come tonight. Our mission is to protect the waterways. We're a nonprofit to protect the water rights by connecting people to paddling. We do that through education, through stewardship, and trying to increase access to the waterways for people. In September, last September, we had our Paddle Antrim Festival that came through here. People had a great time. They said wonderful things. We appreciate the use of Thurston Park. People said wonderful things. We appreciate Chief Barrett and Sam's assistance with being there, helping with our signs, things like that. So thank you so much. I have the application and I'm going to be submitting it for the Paddle Antrim Festival again this year, September 16th. We're going to be coming through here again. We had 115 paddlers. Our first year, I'm anticipating probably closer to 200 this year. So we're pretty excited about it. Had a lot of great feedback and there's a lot of interest again for it to continue. So what I'd like to talk, as a side note, we will be doing zero waste, so we will be taking care of recycling as well, like we did last year, and we will be providing additional porta potties for the event if needed. So, tonight I wanted to talk about developing a water trail for the chain of lakes. A water trail is similar to a hiking trail, just through the water, so it has designated routes, there's trail finding, wayfinding signage, marketing, amenities that go along with it. Paddling is a growing sport around the nation. Subsequently, because of it, water trails are growing exponentially as well. They help provide, stewardship, they give people a healthy activities that they can participate in. And they also have a pretty big economic driver for the communities that are within it. And what we want to do is we want to develop a water trail on the chain of lakes, and we want the communities to be the center. So we want the centers to be our communities, Bel Air, Ellsworth, Central Lake, Elk Rapids, to be the centers where people go, they can get on the water trail there, they have the amenities, you already have a great park in Thurston Park to, where people can launch from, you have restaurants and all those amenities, and we really want to connect people to the communities with the water trail in a non-impactful, non-motorized water trail manner. And so what we're doing, back in 2013, Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy got a grant to identify all of the different public access sites on the chain of lakes. And they also did East Bay. On the chain of lakes, there's 111 public access sites that they identified. And so now what we're doing is we're looking at all the different access sites, and Paddle Antrim has taken the lead with the support of Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy on this project. And we're trying to identify what are the best sites. What are the best sites to be the trailheads? And what are the best sites besides having a trailhead? You also need to have spots where people can get out for emergency purposes or get out, stretch their legs, things like that, where maybe have a bathroom break. So we're trying to identify the different spots along the route of what are the best places. Where should the trailheads be? Where should those emergency stops be? And so we want the local governments though to weigh in because we want their blessing, their resolution to say, these are the spots that we want to be included. And so what I'm doing now is we've identified, I'm going to all the jurisdictions trying to figure out which of the sites in your area would you like to be included. So there are 5 sites within, that we have documented for the Village of Central Lake that are included in, as the public access sites that could be included within our water trail. I was gonna say, I have them listed. They are, there's a Hanley Lake access site. I don't know if it made it in the,
The County Lake one isn't on the agenda, so on that resolution.
Where is it?
Where is the handle?
It's,
you know, I have a dot and the GPS points to it and there's a photo of it because, you know, this was documented by Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy and it almost looks just like where a road ends and there's trees. It doesn't look like you can,
I don't think there is a site.
okay.
Larry,
What?
it's one right, I think the one she's talking right
Is off Lake
about
Street?
is
Yeah.
right off the end of North Street. Right at the south end of Hanley Lake. We own the strip, goes all the way to the pond right there.
Well, yeah, by the barn.
Yep,
Lake
that would be
Street? No.
Hanley
No,
Lake.
that'd be on Lake Street, and that'd be in the river.
That one we have, there was, I don't think there is a site on Hanley Lake,
We don't
that's
have
why I
it.
eliminated that.
We don't know that.
she's,
Well, and we can trick the data with you guys, you know, this
Well-
is your, yeah.
I just don't know where it is.
Right.
I mean, I,
right, well, I've just seen the picture, I'm not exactly
I have
sure
a
where it's at.
picture and I have the GPS points, you know, and I can show, and then we could GPS and we can walk it.
Do you have 2 of them close by right there, Larry, together?
Yeah, it would be Maple and that Lake Street one, if that's the one.
Because we have one that goes down to Maple too,
Right.
down behind Gary Johnson's.
we got Maple,
Maple and
Street.
Thomas, yeah.
And then there's another one just that side, another 100 yards.
Now, when you're doing this, are you looking for us, a question for that, are you looking for us to designate the ones we want, or are you wanting all these designated?
It's up to you guys to designate the ones you want, that you would like to be included. And we're willing to work with you guys on what we want to be the main trailheads and what are just emergency stopovers, because we do need, you know, places obviously along the chain that people know that they can get out in case there's lightning, in case something happens. We'd rather them go to those places than, you know, somebody's
These
front yard.
spots will be put on the map, and also there's gonna be a nice flip book that the
Yeah.
kayaker may carry with them, so
Yep.
they're gonna know I can stop here or
Yes.
stop there.
So besides also doing it online electronically, we're planning
Yeah,
on
there we
making an actual map that designates what they are, what amenities are there. You know, road ends, they might be great to get out and stretch your legs, but they're not the place where you have a bathroom, you know, things like that, and that's okay. And we'll make that clear, you know, as we do it. So what we're looking for from the village is which ones are you okay with including on the map? And we're happy to work with you on what level of service you want at the different ones. Obviously, Thurston Park is going to be very different than any of the other ones, you know. So those are what we're looking for. So, and then we're planning on taking that and making a plan that includes the different routes, you know, the different amenities, any gaps. You know, there are certain places on the chain where there isn't, you know, a lot of access that we might want to say, it'd be great if we had another access site, you know, somewhere around here, things like that. And develop a capital improvement plan and such by the end, a draft plan by the end of the summer and forward, so we can go forward and help find funding for the project.
Could you elaborate a little bit on the grant program that's been giving some money to local groups?
Yeah, one of the things that we're doing, so Paddle Antrim, we feel that we're a vehicle also to help the local community. And so what we did in our first year was develop the Ripple Effect Grant Program. And what this does is we take money that we made at the end of the year. So we designated $3,000 for 2015 and another $6,000 for 2016 that we're giving back in mini grants to the communities. So we did our first round back in November and we awarded almost $4,000 to 4 different groups around the community. We gave almost $1,000 to Antrim County Emergency Management for water, a water rescue ante for practice with the fire departments. We gave Intermediate Lake Association $1,000 to do water quality testing, buy some new equipment. We gave $1,000 to Grass River to increase their stream education program. And then we gave $1,000 to Milton Township to put the first universal access kayak launch in. So our goal is to help support the projects, that fit within our mission, within our community. And that's one of the ways we're able to give back and help support some of the things that go with the water trail that we can help with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can stay if you like. Any further public comment? Yes?
I'd just like somebody to explain to me what the open burn ordinance is in the village that was passed in 2014, because there was an open burn done, and nothing was done about it. So I mean, am I confused on what ordinance we passed in 2014, or not?
I can say that I wasn't aware of the details of that. And it was my perception that the fire department had the authority to practice wherever they got permission to practice. So,
But they don't. I mean, the ordinance, all I'm saying is, I'm glad they got rid of the house, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, it was passed due to another house that wanted to get burned, it was a big issue in the village, and the council passed an ordinance and banned open burning in the village, and those people had to pay to have the house taken down and hauled away. Now, I'm glad it's gone, don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying anybody does something wrong, I'm saying as a council, I think you should look at that ordinance, because if you're gonna allow it to happen, it can't be in violation of your ordinance.
well, since this has all happened and the discussion has started, it's my opinion that the council ought to revise the ordinance that would allow the fire department the opportunity to burn wherever they receive permission to burn.
Larry, I'm in 100% agreement, I'm just saying, in 2014, the village had a whole different thing, and there was a big uprising in the village, and Joe, you were on the council time, you remember it. And now it's happening just the opposite.
They received permission from all the neighbors. My understanding was in 2014, there was a complaint and they wouldn't do it because
And then
of
the
it.
ordinance was
Because the
passed
neighbor next door
to
said
ban
no.
all open burning within the village limits.
Was this the house that had already burned?
Yes.
And is there a difference between taking a house and burning it purely for practice, or taking a house that's already been fire damaged and finishing the job?
My feeling is, the way the ordinance is written, Mrs. Levanway should have been fined $500 for having an open burn, or an unauthorized burn. Well, obviously, it's an accident.
Look, believe me, I'm not pointing fingers, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, when it came to my attention, I thought, if I was on the council, I know I would want to correct the ordinance so it didn't look like you were violating your own ordinance. That's all I'm saying.
And I agree 100%. And I'm gonna recommend that we allow amendment to that ordinance
Thank you,
that would put some parameters.
thank you. And by the way, Bill, you guys did a great job. It was amazing how well you contained some things. I'm not faulting you what you did at all.
And then just lined up cleanup, it'll start on Monday.
Believe me, I was glad as anybody has done it. It was handled as well as it was. That's all I'm saying. You just fix the ordinance, so
Yeah.
when somebody else has, somebody else has an open burn, you don't want people pointing fingers.
fingers.
That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Reports? Terry, do you want to speak for Scott?
Yeah, I'll try to do a good job.
Okay.
Sorry that I was a few minutes late too, getting in here. I had something going on in there. As you guys see that we had 111 events, 56 were handled by us, 55 were handled by other agencies, whether it's state or the county. We had 12 stops with, we had 15 warnings and 3 citations issued. For I guess the other stuff that we did, Chief Barrett had he participated in the Central Lake High School distracted driver and extrication presentation. We did over an 8-hour active shooter up at North Central Michigan College to do that as a training. Got different school events, mainly basketball this time of year. I was able to actually assist, and I'm happy that I was able to assist with the fingerprinting of the kids, the DARE program here at Central Lake. So that, personally, that's really cool for me.
How many kids?
What's that?
How many kids?
It-
Elementary?
Well, that day,
Middle
they did it
school?
in sections. I think I did 8 or 12 kids with Deputy Morris, so. But it was a lot of fun. We also did a meth and a gang recognition training in Bel Air. Chief Barrett is doing the first responder training right now, and he also had a high school ride along. Other than that, I think that's all he really covers. If I'm missing something.
Any questions?
Um,
Thank you.
Do you have a question, ma'am?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't do it.
Years and years, like now we're talking like decades ago, I went to Rochester High School and just for my freshman year in high school. And I have to tell you, the most impactful thing for me was the fact that the local police department brought in several different types of drugs, marijuana, cocaine, whatever, and they had it set up in a display glass. And then they had, you know, an actual testimony of somebody, and so this isn't really a council thing, but just as you're talking about your training and things like that, that really stuck with me and has still stuck with me about, as a kid, you've never seen it before, but when you see it, now you know what it is.
Right.
Really, really cool.
Yeah,
and
I think up
I
here is more
recommend
the
it.
DARE program. To
Yeah,
resist drugs and stuff like that, so. And it does, the DARE program is really great up here for the school kids.
yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sam?
You all got a copy of the DPW report? Nothing really out of the ordinary, other than you notice I wrote down number 4, number 5, and number 6 about we got the day park, the chamber building, and all the state bank all cleaned up, and sure enough, it snowed, so it looks like heck again. Pretty simple. Any questions? We ordered a new pickup. Rachel went back 1 year on my waters report I was telling you guys about that she's been helping me, and it's wonderful. So, any questions?
I see you still got down at, the parking area at Thurston Park there, we've got that coned off. Looked like you guys did some work recently. getting
I
ready to
got them holes ready for blacktop. As soon as we get good weather, I got one more, I still got a water leak on 88 I gotta dig up. I believe we're gonna do tomorrow, I'm thinking. And then we'll have that one ready to go too, so when Matt comes in, put it right back in, all 3 of them, get out of here.
Sam, when do you expect to do the spring flush?
I'm not gonna answer that because I don't know. I gotta have it done by, the end of May, middle of June probably. Time, everything relies on time. I would have never dreamed a week ago I'd back the sweeper out into a parking lot and I'd get it stuck right on a flat parking lot because of snow. So that's, we're gonna get farther and farther behind, that's all.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Corey?
Yeah, we're working on a farmer's market right now, started June 18th, Saturdays, 8 to noon. Working on an advertising plan. There's some other things that go into it, like children's activities, entertainment possibilities. We're trying to work with the, some of the businesses downtown. I've gone and talked to a few of them, and a few more to talk to see if they can offer specials on the day. So the whole idea is to advertise our downtown and to promote our downtown and get some of the people that come to that to walk around. So we're working on that at the moment. We're going to hire an experienced market manager, hopefully. We'll talk about that at our May meeting, and that is what we have going right now.
Any applications gone out yet?
I don't know if you've received any or not. Not yet. We've got a couple people that have expressed interest and some with some good qualifications that hopefully will.
Is there a due date for when that position is?
May 1st.
May 1?
That's being on May 1st, so we have time to review them before our meeting.
Thank you.
When do the farmers market supposed to start? What's the goal?
Saturday mornings, starting June 18th for 16 weekends. They'll end October 1st this year. And It's gonna be located in the lot north of Alton State Bank there.
Anything else? Thank you. Correspondence, Delaware Chamber of Commerce, annual dinner, silent auction and whatever is May 12th from 5:30 to 9 o'clock. You must RSVP by May 6th. Northern Lakes Economic Alliance, their annual dinner, annual event is May 19th from 2 to 4 at Boyne Mountain. There was 4 or 5 of us that went last year. If you want to attend this year, let me know. Yeah, that's all I have for correspondence. Committee reports, sewer and water, Brian?
I just have a bid in here from the Northern Pump and Well, but we're gonna do that on action items, so
Okay.
that's all I have.
Law enforcement, Bill?
I think you covered everything pretty well.
Melissa?
I have 2 things, we've talked about them before, but with Rob not here, I would like to wait until he comes back. The 2 things are the emergency text system, like if something bad happens, we can text people. And the other is doing a monthly email newsletter, something simple that would state when the office is closed, or some activities, if we're doing a village cleanup day, I'm just making stuff up now, but things that are going on, or that have gone on, maybe a copy of the minutes might go out with it, or just something to give people a monthly update of what's happening in this office each month, by email.
Okay. So you wanna wait till next month?
Yeah, because I want Rob to make input on it.
Joe, finance personnel?
The payroll audit is done, workers' compensation fund, in the MML premium policy, we received a dividend credit that came off of our workers' comp bill of $1,821. Other than that, it's been a rather slow month for that. I have discussed some things with Brian, personnel-wise, and I don't know if that will be discussed further tonight, or if we're gonna wait for another time, but other than that, that's really all I have.
Parks and public property, Leila?
Well, what I have, we'll hold off until we have the beach improvement, otherwise I have nothing to say.
Okay. And my report. Got a note from Jennifer Hodges today. I still have yet to hear from the DNR regarding their approval of the plans. This is on the park grant. I know I spoke with Ms. Jaworski last week and tried to not be too pushy, and she assured me she would look at it. I emailed her this past Friday and received, I'm on a vacation email till Monday. I just sent her another email again to inquire on status. This was earlier today. I know you have a meeting tonight and I was hoping to award bids, but alas, I cannot bid out until DNR gives okay. We may have to consider waiting to do the bathroom expansion in August, because at this late period, I doubt a contractor is able to get started till middle of May, and 6 weeks is not enough time to complete. I'm truly sorry and trying to do everything possible at this point, but it is out of my control now. We'll continue to keep you posted. So the DNR is holding back. We did have to apply for an extension, which I did last week, but didn't hear back. We haven't heard back from them regardless. Just as an update, from 2014 to present, we have spent $19,260 on the grant. So most of that, all of that except 350 has been to Gordy Frazier's. So just to let you know.
That 350, was that just for legal?
That 350 was a tree cut down by Ralph Hines.
Or we spent on legal to obtain property on the north end?
that's not included.
Okay.
There is a redevelopment ready communities training series. Pass this out to the Rising Tide meeting that was going on just before our council meeting. There's 4 sessions, Lansing, Dearborn, Grayling, and Escanaba. Grayling session is June 7th to 8th. It is a 2-day. In order for us to be eligible for financing down the road, we have to have 1 representative at both days' sessions through the whole thing. So there's six different practices that they talk about, so we've got to have somebody there. Brian Reese has said that he could do it from the Rising Tide.
I'd be willing to do it too, Larry.
If you're willing to do it. So there's 2 people. They said more the merrier. It doesn't really matter how many. It is free to us except for travel. There is a lunch provided, and I think there's probably rolls and coffee in the morning when you arrive. So if you're interested, let me know. I cannot make it. So we've got 2. Anybody else, let me know. So, and that's the end of my report.
Before we go on, I don't know if it matters, did she want to present her thing during public comment? She was on at the time.
I can, I'd be happy to.
I didn't know if you wanted to or not, I know you
I don't-
mentioned it, so.
I don't, you know, we met with Kevin from Peninsula Construction yesterday, and he gave us quotes, and we still have to figure out if this is even going to be financially viable for us. Building, not to mention all the other things that we have going on. And so they're willing, they're going to look over the master plan and the zoning and do all of that research for us so they can come educated to answer questions. But I don't feel like I have any secrets to hide. And if anybody has any questions, recommendations, things they don't like or want to see different, I'd rather know sooner than later. So I'm happy to present that. If time isn't available or the interest isn't there for the council to spend the time on it now.
Are you on a time frame of some sort?
We are not. Ideally, it would be awesome to start this fall after the summertime. There's been conversation that the expansion aspect that we need to build a new back room, because Tia's is our back room. That is a very costly endeavor. And I don't feel it's feasible to work out of the party store and barber shop as storage spots and be hauling those carts all across the way. And that's not even going to be an issue, that expansion side. We're going into our parking lot, just roughly speaking, by 7 feet. And there's plenty of space to still pull out by taking away that 7 feet for cars. So going in that extra 7 feet into the parking lot helps us out immensely. It'll maximize efficiencies, but we're only gonna get like 300 extra square feet of space for selling, which business-wise doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to put so much extra money. But the bottom line is that we have to have the gas station. And pretty much that is the trend across the board. And as we're looking at minimum wage continuing to increase and so on and so forth, you need that extra draw. And not just that we want to step up the same as what BP has, we want to make it unique to where we have the draw by having recreational fuel. Because we know that that will pull from elsewhere, that will bring in a lot of people filling up their lawnmowers and stuff, and hopefully they'll buy some burger and buns or something from us while they're here. But we know that we need that gas station in order to become profitable, if you will. And I hate to use the word profitable, because everybody thinks that we're gonna be lining our pockets, but it's literally just breaking even. We'd be happy with that. So, so long story short anyways, we have a proposal. I've worked with the architects to have a brick facade, if you will, lining the street sides of it and matching what we currently have for our current building structure. So it won't look like a sore thumb, if you will. There's a little few things that I've done to try to utilize space and our property and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, then, at the parking lot side, it would be a metal building, so at some point shall, hopefully, Central Lake can grow in its population and need for additional grocery services. We're not tearing down brick in the future to expand further. And all that being said, we're not looking at taking down the barber shop or party store at this point, unless for some reason it makes sense to provide more parking to the village of Central Lake. At that point, we would be willing to review that. So that's kind of like a big umbrella, if you will, but by all means, anybody is able, and I'm happy to share those plans, and they're not exactly what I was thinking. I kind of want the slanted top of the window so it matches the store. I don't want just a square window. There's no reason you can't do, things that, it's like two windows or whatever, that'll match. It shouldn't be a big deal. The architects don't, they get lost in all their details, but long story short, the goal is to make it so everything blends, looks like it should be, and or matches the new things that Chris has done with the car wash, so everything looks good together and it melds. So if you'd like for me to pull out plans and have people look at
I
it.
think we'll skip tonight, and you've left some copies, I asked you to leave those, that we'll keep here, and we can review them,
Yep,
and we'll get a hold of you next meeting if we have questions.
sounds great. And then I'll get together with you, Larry, and just find out based on any questions or anything we may have, if, when's the best time to bring in the guys, the architects and engineers that are looking at the zoning things and can hear your concerns and understand things, because that's all out of my realm. In the meantime, Sam, I'm working on getting you the information you've requested.
Yeah, and I want Scott in that meeting because he's zoning administrator, so,
Yeah.
we'll be in touch.
So would that be something that she would go to this,
Planning
PCA
commission.
first,
Um,
rather than the council, so they can review it and make a recommendation?
That was the question. Kevin was like, so where do you want me to go? What do you want us to do? And my dad was like, well, we still don't know if I said, no. No more still, we don't know. We have a
I guess
plan.
I'd rather have zoning administrators say, take this to the planning commission,
Okay,
okay? And then we'll see what develops from there.
perfect.
Thanks, Colin.
And that meeting is
First Wednesday
in May?
of the month, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
New business, Pat Antrim's been
Oops,
discussed.
bills.
so- Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Yep. Approve the bills. Got to change, the payables is $34,976.78, which the total comes to $57,095.96.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
Support it.
Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Roll call.
Roll call, that's right, it's been a month.
Conley,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Johnner,
Yes.
Becker.
Yes. Okay. And just for the record, prepaids are $16,122.19, payroll $5,996.99, payables $34,976.78. New business, is one Battle Antrim, ABC Visitors Guide.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can
that
scratch.
we can scratch that right now?
Well, because it's under letter,
Yeah, It's in the action item.
Oh, okay.
So that was just for her presentation.
Oh, okay.
We moved it up so she didn't have to stay.
You can see the inside.
This is a 15,000 copy booklet that is sent out to the MDOT sites as well as local area businesses. It features Alden, Bel Air, and Central Lake. And do we want to put a Thurston Park ad into it? It appears from what I had, I guess everybody has the same sheet. Inside full pages, the only thing available as far as full page is concerned.
Actually, the inside cover is not available. There's
Okay.
only regular full pages left.
Okay, so,
We've opted out of this for the last 4 years.
okay,
I would make a motion to opt out of it again, being that we just had how many copies of our Thurston Park thing made up? Rachel, do you remember? And they were sent out all over the place, correct? So we've already got Thurston Park out there that way with social media. And I said, we've opted out of it for the last 4 years. I would make a motion to opt out of it again.
any further discussion? It's not under an action item, this is, there's in new business, but if the consensus
So
is
the
that.
deadline's tomorrow, so,
Huh?
I said the deadline's tomorrow, so.
Yeah, okay. We'll opt out. Action items, water rates. Part of the water plan that was developed in the last 3-4 years. Suggests that we raise our rates a quarter from $24.73 to $24.98 per quarter. So, any discussion?
Per year, we raise that once a year. It's 1% off the base price per year that we raise it one.
Yeah,
It's a quarter, right?
but it's billed at quarterly.
Oh, it's billed at quarterly, I see what you're saying.
So basically, it's $1 a year.
$1 for the year. Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve raising water rates from $24.73 to $24.98. Second.
And moved and supported, any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion is carried. Title VI non-discrimination plan that was required by MDOT. We've done the preliminary work that they requested, now it's up to us to approve it. Everybody received a copy of the plan, and it's pretty dry reading. If you would,
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Support that.
been moved and supported to approve the Village of Central Lake Title VI non-discrimination plan for MDOT. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Somebody in Lansing still has a job. Rachel needs to approve, or have us approve the update to the software that's used in her job. The amount of $295.
I make a motion to approve
Support.
the upgrade to the Assist. Support.
Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Just for curiosity in the future on this, when we pass our budget, she has a lot of amount for office resources and different things. Wouldn't that fall under that? And we made, make a motion on it. She should have the ability to just upgrade her equipment if we do. Okay.
Is it an annual thing, or,
This, no.
so just one time until there's another upgrade?
Right.
Okay.
I would say that would be okay. Okay, water trail access points, this is what we're doing for Battle Antrim. I eliminated the Hanley Lake site because
I didn't even see it. It wasn't on here anyway.
no, yeah,
Well,
I
when she
eliminated.
came, she asked me if we wanted to put it on. I said, you know, let's put it on there and we'll have everybody talk about it, because like she said, it could, I don't know if it's usable or not.
showing. That's what I'm thinking it is.
I've seen the picture, I mean, it looks like a grassy
That's
knoll
right.
from here to Larry, and then it's just poof water.
Yeah, okay, now that's what it was, because I was looking at the lake, not the river.
I would go, if this was me, I would remove the Thomas Street one, because that's a concrete wall with a dead end, there's not really much there. I'd also remove.
No. The Maple Street one was fine.
Thomas Street.
That's right straight across the road from Maple. so
But it's
it
got
doesn't
that
matter.
concrete wall right there, and
Coloring, that only goes as far as Chuck's property. After that, it's trees, we cut them down.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve it with adding the Hanley Lake access site to it.
I would say that we want to call that the Lake Street.
Is there four of them in the river? How many's in the river?
This list
How many
too,
dots are in the row?
Maple and Thomas.
See, there's physically
And Brad.
four accesses in the river.
I know the fourth one you're talking about.
Right by Gary Johnson's mobile home.
Right.
These
But there's an
were,
access into that we own.
Yeah, but we don't need that. If we take the Lake Street one next to Thomas's, they're only 50, 100 feet apart there.
Okay.
We can add, I would call it
Well,
Lake Street site.
okay, let's,
Well, looking at this though, when we read through this, it says the access point must be open to the public, used and designed, constructed and maintained according to the best management practices in keeping with anticipated use. Thurston Park obviously is gonna be an access site, a main hub. It's 100 yards from these other ones.
I did these lake access sites already for the township. Every one that was in Central Lake Township for the Land Conservatory in Traverse City, for Grand Traverse. I also did, I had to critique them on a 1 to 5 scale, 5 being the best. They have all that information. She didn't know that. That's why I walked out and told her. And Thurston Park, of course, was a 5, and that's how I took my criteria down from there.
My question that comes with this, when it says it has to be managed as best practices, what is that, and maintained and managed?
it may
I
just
mean,
be leaving it alone.
so we do nothing, we don't put a trash can out there, we don't put a.
The point of this really is to designate the spots on the map.
But if we're
It's not
designating-
us saying that, hey, everybody,
Use it.
But if we're designating a spot on a map, we're telling them they can use it, and this is as saying here, the access point
we're
must be
telling
open
them
to
where
the
it's
public.
at, it's their option if they wanna use it.
We're talking about maintaining.
Right, and if we're gonna have a spot for them to go into, so we gotta maintain it.
But isn't this a good way to make sure you always have a claim of ownership of all the things that have happened to public access? Isn't this just one more step to say we've established it as village-owned property or public access? And the second thing is, I know there's a difference between allowable uses or how it's looked at being a road end or a public access. So Thomas Street, I think, and Lake Street are road ends. It might be something to look into, what you're allowed to do with a road end access compared to a true public access.
But if you mark them, you claim don't.
But that's why
That's
the
a
best
good point.
benefit is.
So my question is, do we put a picnic table and a garbage can down there too? I mean, what are we talking about when it says,
We do maintain them all.
when it says,
They maintain them
We
now.
maintain them all.
so really you're saying we're just mowing them and
We
it'll
mow.
be at that?
Well, nothing is really changing from what,
Okay, so that was
merely
my
just
question.
being
Do we have to
places
do
on the
anything
Chain of
different?
Lakes Water Trail map.
But could somebody take a kayak on Maple Street and Thomas Street, park down at the end of that road, and put a kayak in those access sites, as steep as it is?
Certainly.
Well, I'm asking this, what if you have 8 people that pull to the end of Thomas Street and wanna?
Road end comes into it too. Keep that in mind.
Now,
What's the
Well, that's
definition of a road
unrealistic
end?
when we have Thurston
Bert
Park.
Thompson could answer that question for you, because he deals with all of the townships on road ends that go to water.
Well, I question, other than the fact that we claim ownership, I question the fact that they're all so close. Why not just designate Thurston Park?
I look at the parking aspect of it as one of the big things that I'm looking at. If 20 cars pull up on Lake Street to use that Lake Street access, how many of them landowners are gonna be pretty upset that they got 20 cars lined up in front of their house for 8 hours?
All of them.
So I still go back to Thurston Park being the only one we wanna do.
Any other discussion?
I don't know, Joe, I think that, like she says, some stops might be just stop and get out and rest your legs, others might be get out and take a
But, and that's true, but if you open it up, you have to expect that people are going to use it.
But when it says the village of Central Lake, to the best of its ability, will maintain the following criteria for the water trail access points in the village. The access point must be open to public use and designed and constructed and maintained according to the best management practices in keeping with anticipated use. What if they come back and say, okay, Maple Street and Thomas Street, we want you guys to upgrade them?
Who is that? What do you mean?
Pat Elantrum, if, or the Land Conservancy people.
I don't think they're looking.
I don't think that's the.
I think it's
that's-
just as they
It's
are.
really simply just,
Some are, you know, of course, the park has got a much better.
I think
I don't think.
we have to expect that people are going to use them,
Right.
even though they may not, maybe nobody will ever stop. But
well, I mean, what's to say that somebody's not going out in there today with this not being marked and doing the things that we're afraid of? You know, I mean,
I don't.
Are they marked as public accesses
No,
on the water?
mm-mm.
Oh, there you go.
And they don't have to be, right?
but they will be when this goes through.
No, this is,
Yeah.
My question would be, if they're not a public access and you don't want it to be, what right does the village have to own the property?
Well, the road ends, we
The
The
run.
road ends, I'm just throwing things out.
I see what you're saying with that Lake Street one.
So,
So one of the things I just kind of wanted, as the discussion is going on, obviously, most of you are probably aware about the Torch Lake Sandbar lawsuit that's going on. And I, you know, as a personal person, going out on the lake and picking up beer cans for the next week when I'm out, like, floating around on Torch Lake is not fun. And I refuse to go to the sandbar because I think it's disgusting. On my own behalf, personal behalf, I feel like there needs to be regulation. I've shown up to the meetings and spoke my voice, turned in whatever points to the government to try to help make recommendations on ways that things could be funded to help regulate, keep things clean, et cetera, et cetera. My point in all of bringing that up is that while you're talking about these various different access points, there's a continuing growing development for water accessibility and people coming up and being able to use them. And ideally, the more that they're publicly available could potentially spread out versus having a mass crowd, because there would be various different areas. My only thought in bringing this up is that it could be by making it friendly for people. You don't have to have a picnic table. A porta-john would be really helpful, I think, for any boater, kayaker, or whatever, to be able to know that, like, a couple miles down, they can stop and be able to go instead of going in the water.
lake, yeah.
And a trash can that gets serviced once a week, assuming you don't have somebody like we had last summer, because he bought groceries, he felt entitled to dump his trash in our dumpster. Those things happen, right? But it comes down to your neighbors of like, why did that car just pull in and drop, a bunch of trash off and stuff the trash can? A little bit of neighborhood, accountability. You wouldn't necessarily be promoting necessarily that you have all these access points, and maybe you just chip off one or two different access points to, again, help the watershed, if you will, for defecation and trash, and see how those things go. And then from there, if you have 5 other access points, you can graduate them in. But it would make the whole idea of Central Lake, surrounded by lakes, a more friendly environment for somebody to come and bring their kayak to. And I don't ever see it being like Torch Lake Sandbar type of thing.
It's a different type of crowd.
It's a different type of crowd, but just like, discussion in the Rising Tides has been to create this path, from Bel Air to here. That's what people want for exercise and whatever. That access to that exercise and the love of the lakes and stuff really can be a good opportunity for Central Lake to maximize on, and it wouldn't cost a lot of money to start small. Pick one location and see how it does.
The wording, the access point must be open to public use, is designated, yada, yada. I mean, our panel entrance goal is merely to get this on their map. I know that they have committees within it who are going to be working on, maybe at some point they'll put in racks where people can put their kayaks on it, you know, walk uptown, have something to eat, come back. So, you know, I don't know if people are actually going to use all of these, but I'm under the thinking that, like Kelly says and like Dina said, that, you know, if someone's gotta go and they're looking on their map, I would,
They're gonna go to Thurston Park.
well,
They're not
if they
there, they
can't,
can't.
I mean, if they,
Yeah.
well,
They're not gonna stop at Lake Street to use a non-existing restroom or a road end.
They might use it, but.
yeah, well, I mean, everybody's got an emergency situation, I mean.
Our thing's open. And I bet we're gonna find out when this grant goes through that them new bathrooms are gonna have to be open. Because it's government money, it's a grant.
Did she give you any indication, like coming from the north, what the last access is that they can use before they get to Central Lake?
She's going to have to go to the township as well, because they have several accesses to worry about.
I'm just wondering if these
so-
people, particularly during that race, when they've got
Well,
50,
why didn't
60
she mention
people,
Elk?
because that's what they had,
Yeah.
that if they might be coming like quite a distance without having any place because of the terrain, wetlands and whatnot, private land and wetlands.
People, I know
Before they
people
can
that pull their
stop.
boats over to people's docks that aren't even their own and run up into the woods to
If-
go, you
if
know?
I
I mean,
can-
That's right, and this is right, I mean,
If
I'd
I
rather.
can, just, you know, again, kind of help with the whole funding issue. American Waste services our entire area. Granted, there's waste management, but American Waste has porta-johns. And do we ever, as a village or anybody, reach out to American Waste and ask them for a donation to help our community? I never have, I've never thought to, until just now. Perhaps approaching American Waste and asking if they can split the cost or give us a break on that porta-john so it's not so expensive to the village. They can put right on the side of the porta-john, courtesy of American Waste. Buy your red bags at Village Market or Bachman's or whatever, so you can
Yeah.
throw away your trash. But, you know, there's some good PR there that you can probably get some cost savings to having that.
My thing that I keep going back to, to interrupt you, I agree with you, the more access sites there are, the better. All of these are within, from here to the other side of the parking lot, from Thurston Park.
Yeah.
And two of them being road ends, so I don't know if that's even gonna be an issue or not, but I just see Thurston Park being the only true viable spot for it, or the best spot, to designate and say, this is our access.
Okay, I'm
If
gonna-
they stop at the other ones, so be it, we're not telling them they can't, but we're
We're
not
not gonna
saying
know.
that's the best point. How do they get up on land from the other access points? No, you know what I mean, 'cause
Well, but it might be also people going into the water, it may not be just on the water getting out, it could be getting in.
I think this is great, and I wanna do all I can, I'm not trying to stifle
Yeah, I
it,
know.
I just think
To
Thurston
that
Park's the
point-
best place to be for it.
To that point, Joe, it was something I had thought about that I wasn't, for lack of time, didn't bring up in the Rising Tide meeting, was that we could, if we could, look to making Thurston Park also a charging station where there's a few outlets or USB places that people in kayaks would actually charge up their phone, go to the bathroom, sit, have a sandwich. A free charging station to charge up their phones while they're out paddling on the lake
Good
is
idea.
yeah, pretty
Something
cool
to be looked at.
and pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, that's
I'm
very
gonna
good.
amend my motion to say Thurston Park for today, and we can revisit other access points in the future.
All right.
I'll support that.
So we're eliminating all but Thurston Park. I would rather invest in making that site more compatible than just opening all 5 sites up.
Let's go.
So,
Well, we'll be talking about that too, before we're out of here today.
okay. Melissa's made the motion,
Neela supported.
Neil supported. We all understand it? Rachel, you understand it?
May I just throw in one other thing?
Yes.
As a business owner in the gas industry, of course, we love to sell gas, but the need and usage of electric cars is continuing to be a very popular thing. We have no charging stations up here, to my knowledge, and again, that would, there's grants out there available to actually have a charging station. I looked into it a few years ago, I haven't revisited it. But if you're looking to make Thurston Park a very friendly sort of thing, if you're gonna put in electrical for USB, whatever, phone chargers, shall we not be able to figure it out on our own business aspect and our own expansion plans? I think it's a really cool, again, welcoming sort of
And
thing.
forward thinking,
Yeah.
you know, rather than reactive.
Okay, we got a motion and a support to designate intermediate lake access site Thurston Park as the only site for the Padalecton map. No further discussion, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Letter E, approve abandonment of well number 4. Sam, would you like to talk on that?
When we had our sanitary survey done for the water system 2 years ago, that there was 2 wells that we were gonna have abandoned. We had one of them abandoned, and we put the other one off till this year. It's already, the money has been budgeted for the abandonment of that well.
Okay, this well is located where?
Up at State Street, beside the water tower.
Okay,
That's up on State Street. It was a well that was drilled back in 1964 and it went dry.
yep,
So the pump and shafts and power's all been pulled.
I make a motion that we accept the Northern Pump and Well bid of $22,563 for plug and abandonment.
Support.
How much?
supported by Pat.
$2,563.
2,500, right?
Yeah, $2,563,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
663 of that.
Who supported that?
One or two.
Brian.
Right. Okay, we got a motion and support on the floor. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Beach improvement, Melissa already talked about that.
This, Rob, Leland, I met with Heidi Schaefer from the Conservation Office not too long ago. I can't remember though, I've got it here. You see the email in there on the 29th? We're talking about taking the beach and expanding it towards the pavilion. As you heard Dina say, there was 100 and something people came through in the panel, and she's expecting 200. The year after that, it could be 300. So we met with Heidi. You can see the cost estimate she's given us, like $100 for a permit, $250. The question marks here, we left as question marks because we didn't really know the cost of, like Sam bringing the loader down to move dirt. You can read here that it says expanding the beach, why the Parks Committee is recommending it, the cost here, how it could be done. It's my understanding that Rob talked to Sam and that they're able to do the work. It's not something we would have to farm out to a separate company. So that's it. You can read this as well as I can explain it. And, you know, I hope that, I didn't know that Rob was gonna be gone, I suppose, when we sort of talked about this, but he and I drafted this together, so it's all of our input, the Parks Committee. Total cost, probably, don't hold us to this, won't exceed a couple $1,000s